Welcome to episode 4 of After School with Mr. Van Huss. It is my great honor today to introduce my guest, who is a Major League Baseball player from 1965 to 1983. He spent time with the Philadelphia Phillies, the Texas Rangers, the Boston Red Sox, and most notably the Chicago Cubs. He was a three-time All-Star. He was the National League Cy Young Award winner in 1971, a two-time wins leader. He was the National League strikeout leader in 1969, and the Chicago Cubs have retired his jersey of number 31. He's not only in the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame, but also the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame, and in 1991, he was inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. He's one of only 4 pitchers to have over 3,000 strikeouts and less than 1,000 walks. It is my great honor to welcome my guest, Mr. Fergie Jenkins. All right. Thank you very much for coming on After School with Mr. Van Huss. It is a true honor to have you here today. So you are one of the greatest pitchers of all time, one of the greatest Cubbies of all time. And me being a big Cubs fan, it's an honor to get to talk to you. What influenced you to do what you do? What influenced you to want to be a baseball player?
I think it all started with my father because he played in the Negro League, barnstormed in a little town, Chatham, Ontario, in the 30s, and played for a couple of championship organizations in the Chatham area. One year they were called the Black Panthers, and the next year they were called the Chatham Colored All Stars. But I think the influence with any young man you get from your father lots of times.
Absolutely. So before you got into baseball, who are some of your heroes in that field? Who did you grow up watching?
Well, I lived about 60 miles from Detroit. So we seen Al Kaline play quite a bit, Norm Cash, and then when the American League teams came to Detroit, Mickey Mantle was on that team, Roger Maris, quite a few name players that end up being Hall of Famers.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about what was high school like for you? And did you do any further education past high school?
Well, I graduated grade 12 from CVS. It's an all boys tech school. I played lots of sports. I played mostly hockey and a lot of basketball. I tried soccer one season just for the running aspect of it, but I was on track and field teams too, also in high school.
Excellent. Did you have a favorite teacher, a favorite coach, or anybody along the way that helped you out or acted as like a special mentor to you?
Uh, Doctor, well, he ended up being a doctor. Mr. Kish was his name, was a basketball teacher, and I'm not sure if he was an eye doctor after he left teaching high school, but he influenced me with basically basketball. And then I had another teacher uh, in at John McGregor, which was secondary school, that was very influential in me getting the opportunity to learn, I guess, English, because it was an basically all boys school. Uh, John McCaffrey was his name.
Excellent. So hopefully on this show, I'm going to have a lot of students watching this. So you've got the ear of a lot of teenagers, both high school and college students. What is one life lesson that you would pass on to them today that you've learned along the way?
Well, education is very important. I think that I couldn't sign a professional contract until I graduated high school. So getting education is very important. Understanding that when I left a small hometown of Chatham, 22,000 people, the first city I really played in was Miami, Florida, which the lights never go out in that city. So the nice thing about that was I had to learn how to basically go to bed. When the game was over, go to your room. And my roommate was Alex Johnson, who was from Detroit, Michigan. And what was nice is we both understood what the game of baseball was all about and learning how to be a professional athlete.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I got a baseball question for you. Is there anything over your storied career Was there a game that really stood out to you or something that you remember as just being like a highlight of your career?
Well, there's several. My first start as a Chicago Cub in 1967, I was the opening day pitcher against my former team, the Philadelphia Phillies, and a teammate, Jim Bunning. And I ended up winning the ball game 4-2, pitched 9 innings. And my mom and dad had the opportunity to be there at the time. Uh, it was was it was quite a game, and you're pitching in front of your parents for the first time ever. My mother had glaucoma, so she didn't really see me play, but she listened to the game on a transistor radio. But my dad was there, and a fellow named Ernie Miller, who worked for the London Free Press, got them an opportunity to come down there and to see me play. That same year in '67, I got a chance to pitch at the All-Star game. I was the second pitcher behind Juan Marichal, and had a pretty good performance there in Anaheim. And I think maybe 3 innings or 3 1/3. I struck out 6 batters.
That's awesome. Now you have, even though you have retired, you have stayed very active with the Chicago Cubs because I still see a lot on your social media where you attend the games. My family and I actually had the pleasure of meeting you in Arizona. I think back in, I think 2018, 2019, one of those at like spring training and stuff. What does that mean to you to still be a part of that organization and still be doing those kind of things?
Well, Tom Ricketts is the owner of the ball club. Him and his family. He hired me 8 years ago. Uh, Billy Williams was the first Hall of Famer he hired. I was the second to to represent the organization. And I think because of the fact that I played 10 years with the organization, uh, Tom wanted to make sure that a lot of the players that were part of that organization continue to be part of the organization. Ryan Sandberg, Lee Smith, Andre Dawson, Fergie Jenkins, and Billy Williams. Five all Hall of Famers. And the nice thing about it is when I tell people the organization that to me that stands out in my career by far is the Cubs. I played the longest with them and I still work for them.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, sir, for sitting down and talking to me for a few minutes. I know my students are really going to appreciate hearing what you have to say, and I greatly appreciate you giving me your time.
Well, Drew, it's been outstanding. I try to tell people that the game of baseball is a lot of fun. You enjoy it, and you hope that you don't get hurt. And I was very fortunate in my career to only have one opportunity to be on what they call the IL, which when I played was the DL. I had an Achilles tear, but I came back and that happened in 1976, and I played 7 more years after that. So I was very fortunate to come back and to continue my career.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on After School with Mr. Van Huss, and it was an honor getting to talk to you, sir.
All right, Drew, appreciate it. Thank
All
you.
right.
All the
Go
best.
Cubbies.
All right.
Bye
Okay.
bye.